On this week's programme, we look back on the final of the Red Milk Champion Stakes from Youghal. We visit trainer Paul Hennessy at his Black and Amber Kennels in Kilkenny. And we head to Ballyclarahan in County Tipperary. But first, it's racing from Harold's Cross. Droopys stud and Donal Reilly auctioneer Puppy Derby reached the second round last Friday night. This event for greyhounds, which were born in October 2002 or later, attracted a large crowd. Michael spoke with a visitor from the UK.
First of all, Lord David, your first impressions of greyhound racing in Ireland?
Well, it's where I want greyhound racing in England to be in 5 years' time. And the standard of the experience that has been provided for your punters, the quality of the stadium, the quality of the food, the quality of the welcome, these are all things which at many tracks in Britain we just haven't worked up to yet. And this tells me where I want to go.
What was the first thing that struck you when you came in here tonight?
What first struck me was just the signage, the neat car park, the standard of the track, the white wall around, the attention to detail. I mean, what struck me was that people had decided they were going to give the customer the right experience and put their money where their mouth was. And that's a very, very fine lesson for us all.
Now, you're in your first year in charge of the BGRB. What are your first steps on this road?
Well, I think we've made a reasonably good start. We've sorted out the BGRB, which was a body at war with itself when I arrived. We've got a hugely increased payment from the bookmakers into racing, which will allow us to do more, make a huge headway on the welfare front. We're back in the corridors of power, which before really regarded was a measure of contempt. And so I don't think we're doing too badly, but there's an awfully long way to go.
Now let's have a look back at some of the action from those second round heats.
The hot favourite in the opening heat was number 4 Ballymacnilock, the English raider, powerful finisher. Number 2 Droopys Reilly, 1 Cal's Tonic and 3 Share Magic had plenty of support. And away to go, and Ballymacnilock is off to a very strong start tonight, but it's number 2 Droopys Reilly leads into the bend from number 4 Ballymacnilock. On the inside, number 1 Cal's Tonic, as Droopys Reilly goes on by 2.5 lengths into the far side from 4 Ballymacnilock in second, but number 2 is setting a strong pace here, Droopys Reilly, still a length and a half in front of the third bend as number 4 Ballymacnilock closing, but he loses a half a length there, and it's still number 2 Droopys Reilly leading up the straight. Droopys Reilly number 2, 4 is coming at him, Ballymacnilock coming to the line, and number 2 Droopys Reilly wins it. 4 is second Ballymacnilock, and 1 is third Cal's Tonic. The time a brilliant 28:32. Crooked Deal was an absentee from Heat 2, where number 5 Albino was a strong fancy, but also support for 2 Droopys Brooklyn and 1 Compatible, 2 dogs very good to the corner. Here coming up behind traps, and away to go on number 5 Albino as well. So is number 2 Droopys Brooklyn, and 2 Droopys Brooklyn leads up from 5 Albino in second. 1 Compatible gets through to second on the inside, and into the far side is Droopys Brooklyn number 2, leading from 1 Compatible. 5 Albino is third as the head down towards the third bend with number 2 Droopys Brooklyn out front. It's close for second between 1 Compatible and 5 Albino, who's now starting to run in second, but still out front is number 2 Droopys Brooklyn. Here comes number 5 Albino running on, but number 2 Droopys Brooklyn is going to win it. It's number 2 Droopys Brooklyn the winner. Second is 5 Albino. Third number 4 Motview Jet. The time another fast one, 28:65. Earlier we heard of Lord Lipsey talking about the need for the upgrading of stadia in Britain, and what better man to tell us all about it than Clark Osborne, the Chief Executive of Gaming International, who has already taken some steps in that regard. Now, the 4 tracks you have under your umbrella now?
They are Poole, Swindon, Milton Keynes and Reading.
And what are the immediate plans along that line?
Well, again, a lot of people in the UK know that 2 of those race courses, Milton Keynes and Reading, are actually going to be new Milton Keynes and Reading, because Milton Keynes is closing in about a year and a half's time. We're building a new one, and Reading the same. So it's another big step that's just coming up. Pascal has been fantastic, and he's been really, really helpful. So we're going to use more of the board's expertise. They've opened their doors to us. We're looking at the designs. We're really looking in detail at what they've done, because everybody knows that they've done a great job. So we're looking at that, and we're going to use some of that, I hope, in the UK.
And obviously the industry that's in it, one is very reliant on the other, Ireland and Britain. So this is a case of working hand in hand.
Yeah, they're interlinked. I mean, we recognised that last year when we formed the Anglo-Irish board. And that's really working very well. But they're going to be closer links in the future, because it's shrinking. And as you say, I mean, The UK and Ireland are absolutely linked, and they're always going to be that way.
Back to the action now on the track.
A high-profile absentee from Heat 4 was number 2, Droopys Leroy. But here we had the Puppy Derby favourite, Black Shaw, running from 5, with 2 other very strongly fancied contenders, number 4, Blue Majestic, and 6, Agassiz Ace. The hot favourite in 5, Black Shaw, the Puppy Derby favourite, out reasonably well, not too well away though, as number 6 leads. That's Droopys Agassiz. Number 5, Black Shaw, just showing second, ahead of number 4, Blue Majestic. But around the corner, it's 6, Agassiz Ace in front by a length from Black Shaw, who's challenging in second, but it's still number 6, Agassiz Ace leading from number 5, Black Shaw. Then comes 4, Blue Majestic in third. They hit the third bend, and Agassiz Ace is still holding the favourite. It's Agassiz Ace going on here from number 5, Black Shaw in second. Black Shaw challenging on the far side as they come towards the line. Agassiz Ace in front, but here comes Black Shaw. It's close at the line, but I think number 5, Black Shaw, is just taking it from 6, Agassiz Ace, with 4, Blue Majestic in third. The time 28:54. Another absentee here in number 6, Mad River. Favourite number 3, He Said So, but strong support too for number 1, Senehel World, and 5, Twisted Day. Here up behind boxes and away they go, and first show is number 3, He Said So, the hot favourite, leads to the bend from number 4, Reggie Topper, showing a bit of foot, but around the bend it's number 3, He Said So, the lead from number 4, Reggie Topper, a big gap to the rest, who's led by trap number 1, Senehel World, but out front it's still trap number 3, He Said So, number 4, Reggie Topper, running a big race in second, in third number 1, Senehel World, but out front number 3, He Said So, looks a likely winner as he turns for home. Number 3, He Said So, wins this one in style. Second number 4, Reggie Topper, third number 1, Senehel World, the winning time a superb 28:38.
Next Thursday night at Carraheen Park in Cork, the Cashman's Laurels gets underway and continues on Saturday evening, while at Galway it's the first round of the Heineken Cup 525. Then on Friday, the Droopys stud and Donal Reilly auctioneer Puppy Derby reaches the quarter-final stage at Harold's Cross, and Longford Track hosts the Green Park Lodge Night of Racing. Hennessy is one of Ireland's top greyhound trainers, as well as an avid Kilkenny hurling fan. We recently paid a visit to his newly refurbished black and amber kennels in Paulstown, where he told us first why training greyhounds is a specialised job.
Animals are creatures of routine. If you get them into a routine, they'll settle down and they'll become relaxed, and they'll know exactly what's happening at every time of the day. And you know, it creates a stress-free environment. And not for them all, mind. They don't all settle with us. I mean, you know, with a kennel this size, some dogs prefer, you know, just smaller attention detail, one man, one dog. You've often heard that expression, but like 99% of them settle in and they enjoy it. And you know, when we get into the swing of it, into the rhythm of it, it can be quite good fun, you know. The walkers are a great help, and it's very amusing actually with the walkers, because when I started doing the dogs first, the only thing I wasn't that keen about was actually physically walking dogs up and down the road, because where we're situated, we were right on the side of the main road, and it was quite dangerous, you know what I mean, and it was quite annoying and time wasting and time, you know what I mean, just marching up and down the road basically, and I didn't like doing that part of the training. But when we started off walking or training the dogs first, all the older people, the older generations kept saying to us, like, you can't walk dogs on machines and you can't train dogs with machines, and I think now they're all trying to put in these machines to train their dogs, but they're all weather. And the dogs are comfortable on them and they get their daily exercise. The reason I really like them is that every dog from 1 to 20 in a block is walked. We put in this gallop last year. This is our second one. We have another one at the house at home. This is in our home place here where we rear the dogs and that. The first gallop we put in was about 300 yards long, and that was in trade union's time. God be good to him, he's a great dog. He got us off the map. He won our first champion stakes for us. But there was a local gallop then installed in this area, about 500 yards long, which we used to use as well after that. And the dogs improved when we went to that one. Well, now, of course, we had very good dogs at the time with the late show, and Mr. Boz and Johnstone Cash and all those, and Tamna Rose. And I mean, they probably would have been great dogs no matter where you trained them in the back garden. But, you know, it seemed to suggest that the more strenuous the exercise was, the better the dogs improved. Now we put in this gallop in, as I said, last year, and we're very pleased with it as well. I mean, we're getting a good level of fitness out of all the dogs, a bigger range of dogs, you know, stayers and everything. But it's done to the same spec as a racehorse gallop. It's all dug out underneath and stones. There's about 9 inches of stone underneath and a roll of term on it. And then it has sand and a sawdust mixture. And it has its own sprinkling system as well, I mean, for watering it. so it was quite expensive. But I mean, it's it's going to be there, please God, for for whatever length of time anybody wants to use it, and we're getting good results off it, and we're very pleased with it. It kind of improves a dog's level of basic fitness. You know what I mean, in the sense that it's longer than your usual gallop. It's almost 700 yards long. But what that does, I think, it increases the basic level of fitness in any dog. And sometimes, if a dog is, say, a little bit sore or a bit jarred up from racing or whatever, we can swim them, you know what I mean? And we find that a great help as well. And, we have what we call a room where we ultrasound them and all those kind of things, and portamags, and generally speaking, it kind of speeds up a dog getting back onto the track a bit quicker than what would normally heal them in. And I suppose that's progress as well, you know what I mean? Years ago they would have rubbed them with a kind of an iodine blister or something like this to get the heat generated in the muscle areas. Nowadays it's all ultrasound machines and laser machines, and you like going to a disco. I don't mind the numbers. I like a big kennel. Everybody mightn't. I might prefer small numbers, but I mean, we're just gone used to it. We have a good staff. We have a great team of lads that work for us. And I really mean that they're extremely dedicated, and they're as interested in the dogs and in what's happening at home as I am. And Michael has with me since we started. That's 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So that'll just tell you like the dedication, and it's a team effort. It isn't that simple to have maybe 50, 60 dogs in good form at one given time, and sometimes we're lucky that they do hit form all at one time, and that's why I'm saying that, we develop a routine, we stick with it, and 9 times out of 10 is working. It has been working for us. I don't find it awkward with that many dogs. It suits me that number of them, you know what I mean? We came from a big family, so we're used to big numbers.
At Youghal last Friday night, offering a prize of €13,000 and trophy to the winner. It was also the last time for racing manager Brian Collins to officiate at this event. Hal Keaveney spoke to Brian about his forthcoming move to Curraheen Park.
I will miss Youghal. I did a fantastic 2.5 years here. It was a big challenge, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And you're going to miss it because they're fantastic owners and trainers, and we got some great sponsors, and there's a great pride here in Youghal, and it's something that I will miss. Like, they have a thing that Youghal track will always be here, and it's a fantastic will. So I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Another big challenge ahead of you going into Curraheen Park. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, I have to be looking forward to it. Like, it's a fantastic stadium, huge facility, like, and it's going to be a new one for me again. But I'm really looking forward to it at this stage.
The dogs come on show now for the Red Mill Southern Champion Stakes final of 2004. And the first we see, it's the Burglar, a very impressive first round winner for the Burglars Syndicate of County Kilkenny. Paul Hennessy trains this son of Droopys and Ban Ushal. A flying semi-final winner, Blonde Rummel, winning in 30.06 last weekend. Paul Hennessy also trains here for Mark Robert Curl of England, a son of Smooth Rumble and Bouncy Blonde. Unbeaten throughout this stake, it's Blackstone Woody, of course a brother of Derby winner last weekend, Like a Shot. Pat Sinnott owns here from County Kilkenny, Owen McKenna trains, and this a son of Larkhill Joe and Blackstone Lace. A big prize winner last weekend, Jaskita Ladd, winning in 30.49, a son of Jamela Prince and Charity Blondie. Morris O'Connell, the trainer for the What You Call It Syndicate of Killarney. Poorly drawn, it would appear, in the orange jacket is Silver Gagger for Nyla Heath of Cork City. Dermot Warren trains this daughter of Mustang Yank and Silver Micra. And finally, it's the lightly raced Santon Scholar, only here following the toss of a kind last weekend. The trainer Liam Ramsbottom, and this one is son of Split the Bill and Teacher's Fancy. It's owned by Terry Walsh of Kildare. It's the final of the Red Mill Southern Champion Stakes 2004. €13,000 on offer here for the winning connections. Big support late on for Blonde Rummel in box 2. Here comes towards straps, and Blonde Rummel is not out well at all. Jaskita Ladd well in contention and leads from Blackstone Woody. Now improving, it's Blonde Rummel, and out front it's 4 Jaskita Ladd that has the lead from the white jacket of Blackstone Woody, who's closing in all the time. Blonde Rummel is third. It's a wide open race. Jaskita Ladd losing out up front to Blackstone Woody, and Blackstone Woody now has a battle on his hands as Jaskita Ladd well in contention too. Into this finishing stretch, it's going to be desperately close up towards the line. Jaskita Ladd holds out from Blackstone Woody. Well, excited supporters here, pretty happy with the performance of Jaskita Ladd, winning in a time of 30.20. Second, Blackstone Woody, and third, Blonde Rumble. Patty, a wonderful moment, not alone for yourself here tonight, but for the syndicate as well.
Exactly, yes. We were a bit fearful when we got top 4 last week for the final. We were hoping we get an inside draw, but he broke well out tonight, and when he led at the bin, I knew we had a good chance.
At the third bend, it wasn't clear cut though.
No, top 3 was coming up to him all right. I thought maybe it might be over there, but he pulled away again. He ran on strong. We'll probably go to the ladders now as well, so we might cap it up with the ladders as well, hopefully.
And a reminder that next Saturday night, the IGB National 750 reaches the semi-final stage at Shelburne Park, while the TRF 575 gets underway. Also on Saturday evening in Waterford, it's the semi-finals of the Air Rinta Cork Airport Munster Oaks. And Mullingar hosts a benefit night for Edenderry Rugby Club, featuring the final of the Accelerated Drains 525.
Shot is a big danger on the final man. Maldini, and here comes like a shot coming to the line, and like a shot comes through to win it. It's number 5, like a shot wins it. 2 is second, Droopys Maldini. It's close for third between 3 and 4. The outsider has triumphed. Owen McKenna has won the derby.
I didn't know how to feel. I thought he'd won from the angle where we were going to the pickup, but someone said that he thought the 2-dog had won, which I didn't know what to think. So, like, obviously I was a bit disappointed for the owner of Geldrop Such. You know, to have 2 dogs in the race, try and watch the 2 of them run, it's not too easy. Like, obviously, if you win it with 1, the other's a bit disappointed, whatever. But it was on the night. Geldrop Such has had a great year. He's won the Produce Stakes, he won the Consolation Champion Stakes, second in the Champion Stakes in Lifford. Like, he's reached the Derby final. He's been a good dog the whole year. But like, it was a great feeling to, you know, to be there at the pick-up and know you'd won the Derby, and to actually walk down the track towards the winning line for a change instead of looking over your shoulder and saying, God, I wish that was me. But it was a great feeling to be interviewed, like going down with Tracy Piggott, and you know, it's what everyone dreams of.
Celebrations continued on during the week, and the National School in Ballyclarahan joined in with their congratulations to the winning Derby team. After Saturday night's crowd, Like a Shot was well accustomed to the roars and cheers and took his visit to the delighted school children in his stride. When things settled down, we spoke to the breeder Pat Sinnott.
I bought the bitch Blackstone Leas from Paddy Byrne and Beaumont in Dublin. She was a 98 whelp. But we bought her with 2 pups with breeding in mind. And she was the one we thought would be the one to keep. Like. She won a good few 575-yard races for us. She had the fastest time of the year in Kilkenny up to the big unrace stake in there. And short a little bit of early to the bend, but we always knew she was decent. So when she came to the end of her race, and we decided to go to Larkhill Joe with her. We chose Larkhill Joe because his pups were really running top class. I thought he was a super dog. And it was the Droopys dog in the Derby that really caught my eye. And I said, we'll try him anyway, if we can get him. And lucky enough we did, and the breed suited the bitch. But we have small pups, Roanoke, fortnight old or 3 weeks old out of her now. So you're always living in dreams. Hopefully one of them will be something. Now we have top honcho 2 dogs here out of her. We sold the bitches, and we're hoping we'll get another shot out of them.
Michael and Paddy have enjoyed a long association together in owning and rearing greyhounds. And 2 years ago, when Michael called to Paddy to pick a puppy for himself, little did he know that he had picked a future Derby winner. The rearing complete, Michael decided to hand the lead over to Owen McKenna.
I always had high regard for Owen because he used to come to a gallop that we had in 7 Houses when he was with his father, and I thought he was a great man to look after dogs, and he'd stay for an hour after gallop and he'd wait until they'd be cooled down. And I said if I ever had a good dog, I'd give him to Owen.
Like a Shot, he just came to me, he'd only 2 or 3 races for the owner, Mikey Kelly. Rang me up, said would I take the dog with his brother, Blackstone, would he? Took him in, and it took the 2 dogs a fair long time to settle in properly. I ran him 6 weeks after getting him, just to keep him in his time, and he won a race in Shelburne, 29:32. Ran very well now. Did no flash time, but a lot of trouble in the race. Ran well and showed that he had a bit of boot, like, and did enough to say, you know, he'd go places. And he was like a dog that always looked like he'd run through the Derby well, and he was always going to be thereabouts. And with his style of running, you think it'd be hard to keep him out of the first three.
Friday before the final, Friday evening, Owen rang me up and he said, "How are you feeling?" I said, "I'm a bit nervous." So he said, "You don't have to get nervous with that lad." He said, he'll be a lot better tonight or tomorrow night." He said that lad is happy of himself. So that gave me great encouragement. So I wasn't a bit nervous going up until I suppose they were going into traps. I was very cool because I wasn't expecting all that. And went to the traps and said, when the roaring started, then I said, "Well, this lad come out at all." Then I said to myself, "Sure, he'll have to come out as well as he was coming out before, because he wasn't coming out of the traps. He was good early, but he just wasn't coming out of the traps." So sure, he came out of the traps then, and he got a tip himself and Gilda hit one another at the first bend. And I said, "This is it now, they're going to get wound up in one another, you know." So then he took off down the back stairs. I knew going down the back stairs, I said, if he's any look at all going into the bend. I didn't know what was in front of him because I was just watching him. So there was two dogs in front of him going into the bend, and he kind of, he was caught up to him, and then he had to stall to see where he was going, and coming around the last bend, I knew where he was coming around the best bend because Pat Sinnott was behind me, and he hit me a bang down the back. He nearly threw me over the rail. So the next thing I saw him flashing the line, and sure, we all went wild. And it was great to see all my friends. There was 15 up on a bus from around 7 houses, and that was brilliant.
Coming to the line, and like a shot comes through to win it. It's number 5, like a shot wins it. The dog owned by Mick Kelly from Danesfort in County Kilkenny.
Like a shot will more than likely be left off now till, you know, over the winter. He'll possibly, I don't know, there's no decision made whether he'll go to stud or there's talks of taking straws from the dog. And like I wouldn't be overgone on a long stud break, so to speak, before he comes back in training, because if he was to be retire fully, like, well, but he's a young dog, and hopefully there's a lot of racing left in him yet. Mikey Kelly's a sporting man, like, and he wants to take his chance next year. I'd say the Ladbroke 600 will be really his main aim starting off next year, and all going well. Like, it's a long time between then and now, and if he goes all right, you know, it's Ladbroke 600 and possibly the Derby, and that'll be his main aim. He wouldn't be going for really anything else.
On next week's programme, we take a look back at the quarter-finals of the Droopys Stud and Donal Reilly Puppy Derby from Harold's Cross, the semi-finals of the IGB National 750 from Shelburne, and the Air Rinter Cork Airport Munster Oaks from Waterford, along with highlights of the Cashman's Laurels from Cork. For a complete fixtures list and other information, log on to the Irish Greyhound website at www.igb.ie.